I'll spend few minutes with your questions. If you have any question, you are welcome. It's a nice question. Can you grant enlightenment to someone if he wants it? Surely. Anybody who wants surely can have. Not only I can grant, when you intensely want, simply without even me, the existence can grant you. The very existence can grant you. When you want intensely, simply the existence can grant you. There is no need for even me to be in the middle between you and the existence. When somebody wants intensely, simply the existence grants. Somebody asks Buddha, you know enlightenment is a great experience and bliss. Why don't you grant it for everybody? Buddha asks, please find out how many really wants it. Please go around and find out how many really wants it. And even if we want enlightenment as one more showcase, one more piece in our house. We are not ready to work for it. We are not ready to undergo the transformation which enlightenment will bring. I have seen many people, when they come and live around me, when they see my joy and ecstasy and the way in which I am living, radiating, they start asking me, Swamiji, why don't you give us enlightenment? We need to understand one more thing. Along with enlightenment comes a tremendous responsibility of compassion. A person who is enlightened, don't think he will be the authority of the world. He cannot even think of doing anything. Simply, he will become an instrument in the hands of the God. People ask me, Swamiji, whatever you think comes true, how is it? I tell them, no. Never think that whatever I am thinking is coming true. Just, I can't even think. I have no freedom. Simply the divine thinks through me. I don't even have a freedom to raise my hands. If the divine wants, it can be raised. Even that much of freedom, I don't have. We always think the enlightenment means it's one more possession. No. Please be very clear. You can't possess enlightenment. Enlightenment will possess you. So, if anybody is really intense, wants, surely they can have it. Of course, Master can grant. Paramahamsa means who is liberated, who can liberate. There are many titles. See, a person who creates a formula to reproduce the experience of the outer world is a scientist. See the Newton. He created a formula to reproduce the same experience of the gravity. When he was sitting and relaxing, he saw apple falling and he had something, he understood something. He had some glimpse. So he created a formula to reproduce the same experience so that so many people can understand. He is a scientist. A person who creates a formula to reproduce the same experience which happens in the inner world is called Rishi. He is a seer, saint. Saint is a person who creates a formula to reproduce the experience which happens in the inner world. That formula only we call as meditation. Meditation is the formula which is created by enlightened person, sage or a saint, to reproduce the same experience which happens in his being, which happened in his being. Paramahamsa is a person. Not only he creates a formula, he can liberate. He can guide the people to follow the formula and experience it. So, That is what the program, the weekend program is, we call it Nityananda Spurana. Means the flowering of eternal bliss. It is a formula which I created to give the experience to the people who want the same experience which happened in me, to reproduce that in the people who wanted to have that. I have created this formula. This Nityananda Spurana, this program is created to reproduce the same experience which happened in me, in you all. To reproduce the same experience which happened in me, will be reproduced, will be created in the beings of you. Anybody who is intensely asking for it, surely he can have the enlightenment. And sometimes even I am not necessary, even master is not necessary. If your intensity is so deep, master also is not necessary. Simply the existence can directly grant you the ultimate experience. The idea ego is an obstacle for enlightenment is only obstacle. If you search deeply, the ego is not there at all. It is our idea that something called ego is there and it is attacking me and affecting me. It's almost like a ghost which is not there, but you start thinking it is there. See, you should understand this one important thing. All negative things has got power. They've got only one power. That power is your faith on them. That's all. All negativities have got only one power. That is your faith on them. That's all. No negativity has got any power except your faith on them. Whether your depression or low energy or ego or ghost, witchcraft, black magic, everything, they have only one power, that your faith on them, that's all. They have no other power. Be very clear. They are like a shadow. The more you run, they will be following you. If you just stop and look into them, what is it? You will realize it is nothing. Just your shadow. Have little intelligence. Stop and look. You will see it is nothing. You will simply see it is nothing. Thank you. If you are bothered now itself, how it affects my everyday life means you wanted some portion of your everyday life not to be affected, to be remained, to be retained as it is now. Am I right? So naturally, be very clear, you can't become enlightened. As long as you wanted to retain some part of you, some portion of your life, be very clear, you are not ready to enter into the zone of enlightenment. It's a pure alchemy process. It's like when you enter, you will be a totally new, different being. And I can be sure, people ask me, then it means, will I renounce everything and go away, Swamiji? For enlightenment, you don't have to renounce anything. Just renounce what you don't have, that's enough. You have so many, you see, there are thousands of things in your life you don't have, but you are living with it. Your fantasies, too many desires, you don't have, but you are living with it. Just renounce what you don't have, that is enough, you can become enlightened. You don't have to renounce what you have. You don't have to renounce what you have. Intensely live with what you have. Just renounce what you don't have, that's enough. Now, as of now, even your future, you don't have. But you have an idea how it should be. You have a desire how it should be. Even the continuity of how it should be, how it is. If you think that my future should be continuity of my present, even that is a desire. Again, that is also one more fantasy. So you have too many things which you don't have. If you can drop what you don't have, that's enough, you can become enlightened. All you need to do is just drop what you don't have. Simply you have to take the risk of entering into it. And if at all you wanted to have a particular idea, only then you will enter. You will never be able to enter. It's a pure risk, but beautiful risk.
The organization Alcoholics Anonymous, if somebody feels that they are not ready yet to give up drinking, they ask for the desire to give up drinking. You had said that we are not, the reason that we are not yet enlightened is because we aren't ready to be enlightened. How do I desire to be enlightened?
Actually, when I say about the desirelessness and the ecstasy of that, people immediately start creating one more desire about desirelessness. All you need to do is understand the ecstasy of desirelessness and start relaxing from the existing desires. Please don't create one more desire for desirelessness. Then you are adding little more load. No. Try to drop from what you have instead of adding little more stuff to the desires. When you understand the experience of the desirelessness, just start, yes, when this is the case, let me relax from what I am having, the desires. Let me start living with what I am having. Instead of living with what you don't have, start living with what you have. So, you cannot create desire for desirelessness. If you create desire for desirelessness, you are creating one more desire. So please be very clear. Just relax from the mind, from the words. You will drop into the silence. Just relax from the desires. You will drop into the desirelessness. Never do the mistake of creating one more desire for desirelessness. Nice question. Is the first step for enlightenment is meditation. We can say this is the first step and last step. When you start meditating, you enter into the space of enlightenment. When you stop meditating, you are enlightened. The meditation is the first and last step. The meditation is the alchemy to give enlightenment to you. It just gives you the ultimate experience, what I call enlightenment. So starting to meditate is one of the best and first and last step for enlightenment. It's a nice question, positive and negative thought. As such, there is nothing called negative thoughts exist in our being. Understand this light and darkness. Light has got positive existence. Darkness means darkness has no positive existence. The lightlessness is called as darkness. It's actually lightlessness. Lightlessness means it doesn't mean it has got an existence. It is an absence of light, that's all. Same way, negative thought means it has no positive existence. It is just an absence of positive thoughts, that's all. So as such, negative thoughts doesn't exist. Please be very clear. When the positive thoughts don't exist, that gap, that emptiness is what we call negative thoughts. All we need to do is just create enough of light so that the lightlessness never exists. You can't directly do anything with darkness. For example, your room is dark. If you try to push the darkness away from the room, you try your best. 10 persons sitting in the room and trying their best to throw the darkness away. Can you do? No. You can't do anything directly with darkness because it doesn't have a positive existence. All you can do is just bring light. Darkness disappears. Same way, you can't remove your negative thinking by fighting with it. The more you fight, you will be creating more negativity. negative thinking, you can't do anything with negative thinking because there's no positive existence. You can't try to push. If you try to suppress your negative thinking, control your negative thinking, please be very clear. You are doing the same thing which you are doing when you try to push the darkness away from a room. When you try to throw darkness away from a room, what foolish thing we are doing? We are doing the same thing when we are trying to suppress or remove negativity from our being. So all you can do is just bring light. All you can do is just bring positive energy, positive thoughts. Simply the negativity will disappear. Negative energy will disappear. As darkness disappears, the negativity will disappear. To remove the darkness, bring the light. To remove the negativity, bring enlightenment. That's all. In America, people have a difficulty in stilling the mind for meditation. What will you tell them? You should be aware of one thing. Please be very clear. Not only in America, all over the world, wherever people have mind, they have difficulty in stilling their mind. We should not think only in America. Wherever people have mind, they have difficulty in stilling their mind. The mind means which oscillates. The very word mind means which oscillates. Somebody came and told me, Swamiji, I have too much of trouble from my wife. I told him, if she doesn't give troubles, how can you call her as a wife? The very word wife means some trouble. The very word mind means some trouble. There must be some trouble, otherwise what can we do? See, in Sanskrit we have a beautiful word for mind, manas. The manas means which oscillates. So all we can do to still the mind is, don't bother about it, just relax. Don't create a thought. Don't try to sustain a thought by supporting it or try to destroy a thought. Just stop these three and sit with yourself. You will see that there will be no mind. If you try to create a thought, there will be mind. If you try to support a thought by supporting it, you will have a mind. If you try to destroy a thought, again you will have a mind. When you are trying to still your mind, you are trying to destroy some thoughts. You are trying to control your thoughts. By trying to destroy, you will be creating only more thoughts. It's like our mind is like a lake. Somebody threw a small stone. Ripples are created. If you wanted the ripples to settle down, if you want the silence, and if you try to stop the ripples by hand, what will happen? You will be creating only more ripples and more ripples. You will get so confused, you will just start creating chaos. That is what usually we do when we try to still our mind. Please be very clear. If somebody has thrown a pebble, and if the ripples are created in the lake, just sit silently and see that no more pebbles are thrown. Sit silently and take care, no more pebbles are thrown. That's enough, it will become silent. Same way, neither create a thought nor support it by your energy or try to destroy a thought. Just drop these three. Sit. You will become God, the ultimate energy, the divine. In India we call God as three parts: creator, sustainer and destroyer. When you don't do these three things, you enter into the God consciousness. Creating the thought, sustaining a thought, or destroying a thought. If you don't do all these three, you enter into the consciousness of God. You enter into the God consciousness, or super consciousness, or Christ consciousness. Whatever you may name it, you enter into the ultimate spiritual being. So, Let us pray to the divine to give us that experience. And try once in a while, when you are alone in your house, try to make some time for yourself. Try to make one appointment with yourself. See, we give appointment to everybody. We don't give appointment to ourselves. Please give appointment to yourself and have little time for yourself and sit with yourself without creating any thought, maintaining any thought, or destroying any thoughts. Just sit with yourself. You will see you are sitting with God. When you sit with yourself, you will be sitting with God. So, I pray to the ultimate divine energy, God, to give us all that same experience of unity with Him, with the God consciousness, letting lead us all from words to silence, eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you.